Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison. Sunday was the MLB draft, and Arizona players were selected in the draft with Brendan Summerhill going with the 42nd overall pick to the Tampa Bay Rays in the first round of the draft after the compensation pick. So he is a first-round draft pick. That makes 22 first-round draft picks in the history of Arizona baseball. It is one of those programs that has been a powerhouse for a very long time with 4 national championships, 22 first-round draft picks, countless All-Americans, and recently a trip to the College World Series where Arizona fell 0-2 to Coastal Carolina and Louisville before ending their season. But what a spectacular year for Arizona baseball, for Summerhill as well. Despite all the injury issues, he was able to make it to the first round of the MLB draft. He didn't have a great postseason, going 7 of 37, hitting below 200. I think the injuries really played a massive role in that. Remind you, he had some hand issues and leg issues that plagued him throughout the year. He missed 13 of the 57 games and all that. Although that is a small chunk, it is hard to get back on track after missing that number of games. And he just never really seemed to get into a rhythm. And then therefore his power numbers weren't there this season. Really, he didn't have much power throughout his Arizona career, 14 home runs in 3 years with 99 RBIs driven in. But you're talking about playing in a ballpark like High Corbett with a spacious outfield and massive outfield, one of the largest parks in college baseball. So it's harder to hit home runs there than your typical barnyard SEC stadium where guys are hitting 30, 40 homers with the walls being, 298 or 300 or wherever it is. There's no cheap shots in High Corbett. It marks back-to-back first-round selections for Arizona with Summerhill this year, and last year Chase Davis going to the St. Louis Cardinals with the 21st overall pick. Chip Hill now has 2 first-round draft picks under his belt in 4 seasons with Arizona. I believe actually 3 with Daniel Susac as well, but technically that's part Jay Johnson and Chip Hale. But, 3 first-round draft picks, 4 trips to the postseason, 1 trip to Omaha. It's been a successful tenure so far for Chip Hale. But more importantly, I want to focus on Summerhill going to the Tampa Bay Rays. He'll be going to an organization that has been one of the better developers of talents in the MLB. They find those hidden gems, develop them, and turn them into stars before they sign somewhere else. So it's really a key spot for Summerhill to go. They know what they're doing in terms of player development, and it's a great spot for him. But looking at the athletic department this season, you've had to face a deficit of X amount of dollars that was enormous. In comparison to the rest of the college sports world, it really isn't that big, but it's a huge deficit. And then you also had an underwhelming football season. Things weren't looking good, but still they were able to make it to multiple postseasons outside of football. They're able to get new head coaches in with women's basketball and have success in baseball, basketball, and other sports like softball as well. So all in all, a very good year. But the main thing is for the players, for the student athletes, Arizona had 3 first-round draft picks come out of its university. 1 in Tetero McMillan going number 8 to the Carolina Panthers. 2 in Carter Bryant going number 14 to the San Antonio Spurs. And now Brendan Summerhill going number 42 to the Tampa Bay Rays. It's the first time the university has been able to do this since 2008 when Antoine Cason went to the Chargers, Jared Bayless went to the Indiana Pacers, and then you also had 2 Arizona Wildcats drafted in the first round of the MLB draft that season, including Daniel Schlereth to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Very successful year that year. It's a very successful year this season. And I think it spells dividends for the type of athletes Arizona's getting into, its athletic department. And it's a great thing for the university moving forward when you're trying to recruit these players, not only with what you can do on campus, not only putting them in the league, battling NIL stuff with today's NIL we're living in, world we're living in, to be able to say we just had 3 first-round draft picks come out of our university is a massive recruiting tool for football, for basketball, and for baseball, and really for every other sport interested in having a pro career like women's basketball. Now with softball, with the AUSL, I think it's a huge addition for Arizona to say that they're able to accomplish that. But as we look at the spots that these players went to, I want to start with Tetero McMillan. Ended up in a great spot with the Carolina Panthers, despite what Steve Smith said about him. I think it's a great location for Tetero as you look to the guy that's going to be with a quarterback in Bryce Young that showed development towards the end of last season. He's going to be the number one option. He's going to start right away. He's going to be the top target, and a growing offense as they try to recharge that Carolina football team. I think that's going to be huge for him. He's going to get a lot of leeway. I think he's going to have a massive season being that number one option. You're going to look at him as a guy that could potentially get to a Pro Bowl or even win Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL. I think he's going to have 1,000+ yard season with 8+ touchdowns as well and be one of the top rookie targets this season in the NFL. Now, as you look into the NBA, Carter Bryant was projected as a low first-round draft pick to start midway through his Arizona career. And then by the time the season ended and everybody saw the defense and the rebounding and the team-oriented stuff that he was doing, he was projected as a lottery pick after the combine as well, seeing his measurements with a 7'2" wingspan, being a legitimate 6'7", 6'8" guy, big frame and shooting over 38% from the deep ball. Everybody looked at him as a 3-and-D player with athleticism. That's why he went number 14 to the San Antonio Spurs, becoming the first Wildcat to do so since Sean Elliott was drafted by the Spurs in the 89 draft, number 3 overall. So that's a huge tradition for Arizona, seeing one of their guys go to San Antonio. I know Sean Elliott, the play-by-play guy, was extremely excited to get Carter Bryant out there in San Antonio. And so far in the summer league, he's really shined. Not offensively. Offensively, he has struggled. And the three-point shot hasn't been there. But I feel like that will come around. But defensively is where he's going to have his bread butter, where he's going to make his money. And he's been the best defensive player in this summer league. I mean, he's had countless blocks, countless steals, countless tip passes, and has been an all-energy guy. We've seen his videos go all over social media in terms of his effort out there defensively for Arizona, well, for the San Antonio Spurs, but just a tremendous draft pick by San Antonio. I don't know if he will see the court this season with the Spurs because you can play in the G League. I expect somewhere between maybe 45 games for Carter Bryant at the NBA level, but here's a guy that they could develop into one of the best lockdown defenders in the league that I believe still has star potential. If he's able to develop scoring off the dribble and have a consistent three-point shot, you're looking at a guy in this NBA that could be averaging 20+ points while being one of the better defensive players in the league and being an all-star. I think that's a great spot for him. And then again, let's go to Summerhill. Getting drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays is massive. I think it's one of the better organizations in developing. They develop outfielders, they develop infielders, they develop pitchers, they develop anything, you name it. They find guys, they develop them, and they have them play Tampa Bay Rays baseball. If there is an organization to get power out of Brendan Summerhill with his 6'3" frame, 200-pound body, I think it's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays. He has the power there. I think a lot of it had to deal with playing in Tucson and playing through injuries this season. But as you get more reps and more repetition in minor league baseball, I think you're going to see him get stronger. I don't know. I don't think he'll ever be a 40 home run guy or a 35 home run guy, anything like that. But it wouldn't shock me if he became a solid center fielder as they develop him more in the outfielder with a big cannon that has massive range and is hitting around 14 to 20 home runs any given season while driving in 70, 80 RBI. If he's able to do that, he's going to have a long career. But again, we're a long way away from that. We're talking about a prospect and the minor league system where prospects stay there for a long period of time, 3-4 years down the road. You're going to know what you're going to get out of them. I think Summerhill's a guy that could project to be at the major league level maybe in 3 years. But that depends on how the Tampa Bay Rays are rolling, what they have coming up through their organization. Again, it's one of the better farm systems in baseball. So you're going to have to prove your worth there. And who knows, he might get traded throughout this time. You see it in a lot of times throughout the MLB. You never play for the major league team that drafts you, you get traded in a trade that sends a major league talent to them and sends top prospects elsewhere. So he may never play for Tampa Bay, but I think it's a great situation for development, and I think they're the right organization for him. Again, a phenomenal feat for Arizona. I think it's something to keep an eye on because I think football has a potential first-round draft pick. I think basketball has a couple of potential first-round draft picks, and then baseball, we'll see how this MLB draft finishes up. Maybe Mason White goes a little bit lower, comes back, and then all of a sudden he's the first-round draft pick, or there's some other guys in there right now that aren't being thought of, but there's potential for Arizona to do this again, and I think it's something special and something that is very rare.